that's Good morning, everybody. My name is Kimberly Poe. I'm the Children and Young Adult Library Consultant with the Connecticut State Library. I'm here with my colleagues, Ashley Sklar, who's the Community Engagement and Adult Services Consultant, and Maria Bernier, who's our Data Coordinator, all from the Connecticut State Library. And today we are going to go through the new reporting process and questions for summer reading, which will start this summer, the summer of 2021. So again, please use the chat liberally. Maria, Ashley, and I will be keeping an eye on it. We want to make sure that everyone walks away from today as comfortable as possible. No question is too small. If someone has a question that they don't want to sort of propose out to the greater everyone chat feature, feel free to send it to one of the three of us in DM, and we will keep you anonymous. So I'm going to go ahead and do a main screen share, and then we're going to go through it. All right, can everybody see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up from Maria or Ash? Okay, so here we are, and Maria and Ashley, if you don't mind kind of following along and dropping links in the chat, that would be helpful. So this, for anyone who's not sure, is the DLD Home Page. This is our main LibGuides page. I want to start from here so that we hit every step for how folks access this information. So right up here at the top of our page, let me make this little thing smaller. At the top of our page, you'll see we've got sort of like the most frequently used web pages pulled out, and we now have one for summer reading. For folks who have used this in the past, we did not used to have this. It was built into the children and YA page. You will notice here, anyone who was not able to watch the summer reading Q&A that we did last year, I don't know why my face froze like that. It is right here on the home page of the summer reading page that we've created for folks to sort of go back and watch or continue to watch as they want information refreshed. We have a reports tab here. A lot of what we've done is to build cohesion between the summer reading report and the state report that Maria uses. So some of this formatting might look similar. She's got a reports tab. I've got a reports tab. We want to make this as seamless as possible and just sort of build in the repetition of looking for certain things when you're looking for certain types of information. So here we are. This is all of the new 2021 information, and we are going to go through all of this. So the very first thing that I highly encourage everyone to do is look at the annual summer report instructions. So this page probably looks very similar to the instructions that were built into the Excel spreadsheet last year. What I would like to point out most importantly is this hyperlink. So what we are saying here is that we encourage library staff to use the program and activity form that was created by Maria. We can, all right, I just have the chat pulled up so I'll know what's going on. So I'm gonna click on that really quickly, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe Maria had recorded quite a few sessions that can be viewed on her program and activity counter. But what this is an Excel spreadsheet that allows you to do exactly what it says, count your programs and activities throughout the summer. The intent for this is to make the annual reporting process easier. If staff members are tracking and counting their programs and activities as they're happening, then when Maria sends out the call at the end of the fiscal year for all of the information, all you have to do is just grab the numbers and import them. What she has here is a way to, sorry, I'm just like moving all these screens, is a way to track the information right here in the spreadsheet, which is what you'll see here. A lot of these are drop down, so you don't even have to guess. Or for libraries that prefer to do things by hand, maybe you don't want to do it this way. You can click on this other tab. You can tally all the information by hand. Am I missing anything, Maria?
Actually, if you could click on enable editing, and in that first, yeah, just show people how to add a column, because Kim and I had talked about that you might want to manipulate your Excel spreadsheet. It's yours. You can do whatever you want to it, but you might want to add a column here at this point early in the game that just says summer reading program or SRP, so that you could make a note right in this program and activity sheet that it's a summer reading thing, you know, yes, no. And so then when you go back later on, you can sort this sheet in different ways and pull out the summer reading program things. This could potentially make your life easier as you're doing counts later on. And I am going to do another iteration of this tool, probably over the June, I think. Once I get more information from IMLS about all these definitions, I'm going to make a final iteration, and at that point I'll add that column, but that's coming probably after you will have started summer reading. So go ahead, make this Excel spreadsheet yours, do whatever you want to it to make it work for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And we go ahead, Maria.
Also, Michelle sent me a question, is there a Google Docs version of this available? And I don't, I think you could probably upload it to Google Docs. I have heard people do that. So please feel free to do that.
And I can imagine that that question was probably asked because we are asking for information from various departments who might be running summer reading independently. So there is not a version of that that exists, but it is as simple as saving this document on your desktop or in a file folder and literally dragging it into the Google Doc. It is as simple as that, and all of this information is going to stay exactly the same, including the drop downs that are in here somewhere. I mean, the colors might, you know, like very small things might change, but the document will work in exactly the same way. Okay, yes, or you can convert it to a Google Sheets, whatever it is that will allow you all to work together as seamlessly as possible. So at the end of summer or at the end of the fiscal year, it's all there. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this. I need to save that. Nope. Where'd it go? Everything is so hard. Oh, maybe I closed it on accident. But oh no, here we are. So that was the, yeah, I think I closed it out. My bad. So yes, so we have a link in the directions directly to accessing Maria's program and activity form, which we highly encourage you use. You do not have to. Everything that we are going to present to you today are tools that we've created in the hopes of making this process simpler for you. But you can collect the data however you want, whatever works best for you. The rest of this is just sort of information, guidelines. The deadline for this is October 1st, the first Friday in October. So next year, the first Friday of October might be the 3rd, whatever it may be, but the first Friday in October is what we are looking at for the deadline for this information. We recognize that people run summer reading programs for different lengths, 10 weeks, 14 weeks. COVID kind of confused things last year, but this is our target date. We have to then take all of the information that's given to us from all of the libraries who participate, smush it into a document, and send it over to IMLS. So we've got deadlines. We have to issue deadlines to you. That's if anyone's wondering why we have a deadline at all. What I will say here, and probably say so many times today, and you also will hear in the summer reading Q&A video, is that we have to receive summer reading data from the libraries in order to provide you with the CSLP manual information for 2022. The 2022 theme is Ocean of Possibilities, which is going to be real fun for Connecticut. Sorry, you know, anyone who's not as beach local as us. We are very lucky. We have to do that because we use IMLS funds in order to purchase the manual information. We purchase CSLP membership independently of purchasing the CSLP manual. 2 separate invoices, 2 separate dates. Both are IMLS funds. IMLS requires that we provide outcome-based data for what happened with those funds. So we have to. It's not Connecticut trying to act as a gate or a barrier. In this particular situation, we're at the mercy of the feds, the federal government, basically. So that is one of the reasons why we collect the data, but that is the reason why we have to collect data in order to provide CSLP manual access. Everyone who submitted information in 2020 received an email with the access information on January 4th, somewhere between 8 and 8:30, because I already had the email drafted. I just hit send when we got back. The person who received that email is the person who submitted the data to me. Scroll back if someone's looking for that. January 4th, it was the day we came back after New Year's. Look between 8 and 8:30 and you will see an email directly from me, I believe, called CSLP Manual Access 2021, something like that. If anyone has any questions about that process as I move on, please feel free to type it into the chat, but there it is. It's a mandate, it's a federal mandate, we have to comply. So that's why we're asking for this information. But again, like I said, we're hoping to make this as simple and painless for you as we possibly can. Okay, so there was the instructions right at the top. So our newest addition to data collection is our patron survey. Now, in the past, like I said, we've always had to collect outcome-based data. In the past, I think what's been happening is we've kind of been saying we've been submitted outcome data, but it was really like output data, right? So number of minutes read, number of books read, number of pages read, all of that is output data, not outcome data. We are now going to collect actual outcome data. We want to know what the library did and how it affected your patrons. So what this is here, this is a Word document on purpose. It is a Word document because we add your logo, add your library name, add your name if you would like people to contact you. You are also welcome to add questions to this. So the questions that are built into this, that's what we want to know so that we can pass that along to IMLS. But if there's an extra question that you want to know about something that has to do with your library, about something that has to do with your summer reading program, you are welcome to add that. We encourage you not to add too many questions. The longer it is, kind of the less likely it is that the people are going to fill it out thoroughly or completely or like at all. So we encourage you to keep it to one page if you can, but this is a Word document on purpose. So what the directions up here are basically saying is we encourage you to start submitting the survey from around the midpoint of summer reading. It really can probably be 2 or 3 weeks in. We want your patrons to have had time to experience your summer reading program before getting this survey. You are welcome to submit this to your patrons however you want. And we have something to show you a little bit later today that we hope makes that easier because we do recognize it's COVID, things are strange. So the directions up here are also telling you we would like you to do your best to encourage the survey responses come from the children and teens and adults and not the adults filling it out for the children and teens. Obviously, we have a section for birth to 5, like obviously, yes, like grown up is going to have to fill anything out for their early learners. But particularly when you get to the 6 to 11-year-olds, the children, we want to hear from them as best we can. Their grown-ups are probably going to be there to help them. But you want to make sure, particularly those of you who are children's librarians, you want to make sure that you're fulfilling the needs of the child, not fulfilling the needs of grown-up on behalf of child, right? So these age breakdowns correspond to what you will see in Maria's data information. These are the age breakdowns that IMLS currently have in place right now. And you will see more of this information later. The questions are very basic. I felt welcome at the library. I enjoy taking parts in activities, yada, yada. I don't need to read it all to you. a question was asked of me a couple of weeks ago, and sorry, some of you who are at the Q&A, you're gonna be hearing repeat information. But a question was asked of me a couple of weeks ago by a librarian who's already working on getting their summer reading information together. And they asked, can we insert examples into this? And the question that they were specifically talking about was, I learned something because, I learned something because of activities or programs offered at the summer. They said that sometimes, particularly the younger children, might not realize that they learned something. Maybe they learned a science experiment. Maybe they learned a joke. Maybe they learned something, but the young kids, they're like, nope, y'all didn't teach me anything. So they asked if they could put, in parentheses, for example, or i.e., blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, this is a Word document on purpose. That same person then followed up with a concern about question 2A. I felt welcomed at the library this summer. Now, if you look at the other questions, we have tried to make them as COVID accommodating as we could. So, you'll see I enjoyed taking part in activities offered by the library this summer as opposed to offered at the library. So if the library was offering a program on Facebook or on Zoom or on Google Classroom or outside or wherever, we worded this offered by the library on purpose, because wherever you offered it and however you offered it, we still want their information. And you'll see the same offered by the library, got help from the library. I know that there are some of you who are doing really great work with like emailed reader's advisory, where someone emails in and they say, can I please have a mystery book about blah, 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 blah. And then they pick it up curbside. That is still help that they got from the library, even though you and that person were never face-to-face. So we tried to make these questions as COVID ambiguous as we could, except this one. So this person expressed concern. They're not sure if they're going to be open for the summer. How can someone feel welcomed at the library if they're not there? Yes. So what I told that person is, again, you can feel free to go in and do maybe like a line through if you want to indicate to your patrons that they don't have to answer this. But also please note that I put NA here on purpose. This is a question that is not applicable to a library that is closed. The reason that it's here is because this information that we put together doesn't exist just for summer of 2021. It exists for summer of 2025 with a few changes and tweaks the farther we go into this. And I do see that question over here too. We have these questions and we want to keep them keep them here so that we have longevity data, so that we can tell a longer scale and larger scale story 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So even though this question might not be applicable to a certain library today, this summer, hopefully, knock on wood, it should be in the summer of 2022, 2023. Now, the question that I see in the chat, do you think the language should be changed for our younger patrons? The language is there a specific question? The language for I felt welcomed? My immediate response, unless there's more to this question, is no. Because again, we're looking for longevity. If we keep changing the questions and if we change them for different age brackets, it makes it more difficult to tell a unified story. Allison in the chat, please feel free to provide any clarity or clarification here. But my immediate response is I think it'll be okay, right? A 0 to 5-year-old in theory will have a type of adult or caretaker there to help phrase the question in a way that a 4-year-old can understand. So I believe it should be okay. Another thing to point out is this is not only the first time that you all are doing this is the first time that we're doing this. So the language might be tweaked between this year and next year until we find what works specifically for Connecticut. Yes, they may not understand, strongly agree, strongly, maybe change it to yes or no. So I will show you at the end of this day what we are hoping to do with all of this information modeled off of another library. Allison, if you weren't at the other session, I think it will be okay. I really do. If we hear back from you all at the end of the summer of 2021 that was just too complicated for our younger folks, we will take that into consideration. Maria?
And I feel like that's something a librarian and a parent can talk about too. If a younger person says, oh, what does that mean, strongly agree? You can say, oh my gosh, did you like really agree, or do you just kind of agree, or like do you totally not agree? And I think parents and the librarians who are familiar with them will really be able to translate that for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, and I see your response, Allison. Thank you. But thank you for asking the question. That is what today is for. Like I said, no question is too small. Please feel free to ask. And thank you, Kate. What a great way to boost the vocabulary. What a great way to turn this into a learning moment. So we have all of these questions here as a part of question number 2, where we do have the yes or no, as this is the first time I participated in the summer reading program. And this is where we're gonna really start to see longevity tell us a story. If you realize at the end of your summer that almost all of your participants have circled no, I've taken part in summer reading program before, what story is that telling you? Is that telling you that maybe we are not reaching new members of the community? Or is that telling us we got them all, we got all 1,400 folks in Connecticut town? If after a couple of years you realize that you're just getting kind of the same kids over and over and over, maybe with the exception of the birth to 5 age group because they were born, then maybe some work needs to be done. Maybe some outreach or community engagement. Maybe some changes should happen there. Then you will see we've got opportunity for open-ended questions. Now, the state library, we're not asking for their replies to this. This is more information that we thought might be helpful for you, or maybe something particularly in number 5. Is there anything you'd like to tell us? Maybe there's something from that you want to include in the anecdotal portion of your annual report to us or your summer report to us. Those are just there because it's always helpful to have an opportunity for someone after they've circled strongly agree, or disagree to explain why, maybe to tell you why they feel the way that they feel. So this is the patron survey. I'm keeping my eye on the chat for any questions that come in about this. But if anyone's wondering about how to do this in a digital world, it's coming because we thought of that too. Okay, so now we are back to, okay. Oh, I see some, let me just make sure. Parameters into ours. Okay. Can we add a question for internal purposes? Are you participating in camp or summer school? Absolutely, that's a fantastic additional question that is pertinent to your library, Sarah, related. Is there somewhere we can report that to you? That would be the type of information that I think would be really helpful to have in the anecdotal portion of the report. That is information that I can see, especially over longevity, when taking into account longevity. If we start to see that more and more libraries are accessing their youth patrons in summer schools or summer camps, that may affect the way we provide services to you so that you can provide services to them. And Sarah, I will show you when we get to the actual reporting form, which is next, where that information could go.
To interject, Sarah may have a concern with some of the questions because if they're doing a lot of outreach, those kids may not feel welcome at the library. So their answers could be a little different is a guess. So that may be where she would want to really pull that out in the additional information, the additional comment section in the report to say, and by the way, 80% of our respondents were in one of these summer camps and didn't actually come to the library. So that's really helpful information.
Thank you. And Sarah, if you would like any clarification on what Maria just said, please feel free to just ask for that in the chat. I see Jennifer. How many patrons are you expecting to fill out the survey? So we actually also have that on this main page here. The target number that we are looking for and we are not requiring, we are just hoping for, is if we can get about 100 surveys from a library. But that's 100 total, not 100 6 to 11 and 19 plus and 100 total. If you are only able to retrieve patron surveys from 6 people, I will take it. We understand, and we understand from a special perspective because y'all are all going to get a survey after this, right? I did a workshop today. I think there were like 15 people in it. I got 5 survey responses. We know, so we come into this knowing what we might get out of it, but having that information is better than not having that information at all. So Jennifer or anyone else who has a concern about that, if by the end of the summer you're only able to get 8 surveys, then you're only able to get 8 surveys. We just ask that you put some effort into it, right? We just ask that you just kind of do what you can, maybe have it available through various mediums, an online form, a form right at the desk. So while someone is handing out books to the person at circulation to check out, perhaps that person at circulation can say, hey, are you participating in summer reading? Would you mind filling this out quickly? We're prepared, basically. We're prepared, especially the first year, to not receive a ton of responses. But there is something that we believe will help. We were asked at the summer reading Q&A if we would put together some talking points so that librarians and library staff are able to explain to patrons why we're asking for this information. And we did that in 24 hours, and it will show you that as well. So I'm just scrolling through. Oh, look, Chrissy. Hi, welcome back. Thank you for that suggestion, Chrissy. We really appreciate it, thought it was really great, and it exists. So snaps for Chrissy, we really appreciate that. We never thought of that. There's so much happening in the chat. Can we convert these questions to a Google Doc? Yes. Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, I've got Marie and Ashley covering me. I'm just gonna move on then, and if I missed something that Marie and Ashley didn't get to in the chat, then if you guys could just let me know. So the next thing here is the summer reading report. Again, due October 1st by 4 p.m. because I leave at 4:30. So let's just click into that. This is an Excel document. In the past, this information was collected via SurveyMonkey. It was not a pleasant experience for me. And we also want to keep this cohesive with the way the annual report information is turned in. So there that is. So this form looks fairly similar to last year, a few changes. We always ask for library name, but the way someone says their library name versus the way it is in information that we have can be a little off. So it's a drop down now. Anytime you see a little red triangle up here in the corner, I have left a note that is worth looking at to possibly clarify the question. So what you'll see here, the person who writes their name and email and contact information in this section is the person who will receive next year's CSLP access information. So if Susan Smith submits it, Susan Smith is getting the email. If Terry emails me like I didn't get it, nope, Terry, you didn't get it, it went to Susan. So just to kind of provide a little bit of clarity there, we will ask for total number of patron surveys counted. If you can only type the number 10 in there, that is okay. We understand there's room for growth. We get it, don't worry about it. So then what we've gone on and done is we've separated out the same questions by age group. So all of the questions here are the same for 0 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 18, 19 plus. And another thing that I would like to point out is we listen to you, right? We just had a fantastic opportunity to tell you how at the summer reading Q&A, someone provided a suggestion to us. We saw a lot of value into it and we built it. We put that into reality. After the summer reading Q&A, I received a phone call from someone who had been there and pointed out that while Maria's form had a section for what she called general programming, which is basically all ages programs or activities, we did not have one built into this form. So if anyone maybe downloaded this document and saved it into a shared drive before family programming was added, I suggest switching those out. I didn't notice, I didn't think about it, someone else thought about it, Thank you. Thank you very much. We want to take all of your suggestions into consideration, and I can imagine particularly in the summer, there are quite a few family programs offered. So here you are. We did it for you. Going to sort of back up to these questions. Did you run a summer reading program? You'll see a lot of these are yes or no drop downs. If you try to click and type somewhere else, you're going to see this message come up. That just means we didn't want you to type in that space, not that you need a password or anything like that. We've done that for all of the spaces over here that don't require any kind of additional typing, just to streamline the process. So don't worry about that. We've built in drop downs wherever we could. How many participated in the summer program? How many programs and activities did you offer? Again, you're gonna see a red flag here. Maria's information, because she has to report it to IMLS in a very specific way, requires the separation of programs and activities. Specific definitions you can get on her webpage. Here, feel free to smush them. Feel free to smush them together. We just want to know what you offered to your patrons and how much of it did you offer in person, online, whatever. All that we ask is that it be within the confines of your summer reading programming. So if you run summer reading from June 1st to August 31st, just provide us the numbers for what's smush in there. Yes, Maria.
And Kim, if I can also say, this is one of the very rare instances where you get to count things twice. So you're going to be counting any program that's related to summer reading, and you're going to report that to Kim. And you're also going to count that in your program count for the annual report that your director sends to me. So this is an unusual circumstance where you get to take credit twice, because you ran a program, and it also happened to be part of summer reading, which gets reported in 2 different places. So bonus for this.
Right? Snaps. We also have, this is a difference from last year, how many programs and activities were held off-site. We are very interested, particularly right now during COVID, what are you able to do in your buildings? What are you able to do outside of your buildings? This is the prime opportunity for that summer camp, summer school question, just so that we can collect some information on that. And there is a large narrative, particularly right now, on, if possible, leaving your building and going to where the youth and, well, all of your patrons are, as opposed to just sort of waiting inside 4 walls for them to find you. So we did separate those out on purpose. In Maria's count, she has also separated that out. So that's why we encourage using her her form, because she did it already. She built it, she did it. Again, you do not have to, but it is a tool that is there. And again, I'm just gonna keep saying it, we want to make this as simple for you as possible. One of the questions that I do anticipate is, what if I run a program for 0 to 6 years old? What if something that I am offering is for the age brackets being off, right? Just pick one. Just pick one. It's not going to be perfect. There are 191 libraries in Connecticut. You want 191 different summer reading programs. We are going to defer to you. You know your program, you know your patrons, you know what you did. Just pick one. However, you cannot report it twice, right? So if you did something for 0 to 11 years old, pick 0 to 5 or 6 to 11, because it was just the one program.
And if I can jump in there too, right? So where I said there was that rare instance where you get to double count, and this is where you can't, right? So as Kim said, you got to pick. IMLS is tending towards thinking that the 0 to 5 range is really about early literacy programming. So if your program is specifically about early literacy, you might want to count it in the 0 to 5, but if it's more broadly about summer reading and general literacy, you might want to count it in the 6 to 11 instead.
That's a great point, and a perfect example. I know quite a few libraries do 1,000 books before kindergarten as part of their early literacy summer reading programming. Maybe you didn't start kindergarten until 6, so maybe you do have 6-year-olds built into that. But Maria's right on point. it is intended for early literacy programming, so it's better to count that for birth to 5. I see a few questions in here. Thank you, Maria, to Meg and Heather, I think, off library property. So in my town, the library is within walking distance from the town green. If they did something in their little grassy knoll on library property, that's still at the library. If they did it 3 blocks down the road at the town green, it's offsite. Do pickup programs count as offsite? Is that take and makes? Is that pickup programs? If pickup programs are which take and makes, if that's what you mean, where are they taking them from? Are they taking them from? I would count that as on site. They are driving up to you, they are picking up their baggie, and then they are going home. Okay, perfect.
And I think in contrast would be like if you were preparing bags of activities to take to kids at the beach, that would be offsite.
Right.
So I'm really glad you guys are asking these questions because they're scenarios we haven't considered.
Or you run a story walk and you give folks things off property and you give folks things to take home. That is take home. Or like if we gave kits to our community center to hand out. Yes. And fantastic partnership opportunity. I hope everyone does that. So moving down, I don't know why I thought this could be an hour. Okay, family programming, we've gone through that. So in a couple questions that you'll recognize, did you use Read Squared? You'll see a little tab here because we do recognize, like I said, that maybe the teens are running the teen program, maybe the children. Did you use it somewhere for someone, for an age group? Then this, you'll notice this is just a drop down of yes or no. Sometimes we get an explanation. We use it for this, but not for that. That's okay. Yes or no, as long as it's for one age group. Same here, but did you use the CSLP programming manual for an age group? Did you take the art from it? Did you take anything, right? Was it used at all? Did it contribute to the existence of your program? And again, we ask every year, if you used another digital program, what was it? We recognize that some people use Beanstack, Google, Paper. A new question that we're asking that we have not asked before is, did you use the Summer Governor's Reading List? I want to know. That's something, even though the whole Summer Governors Program is run through the Department of Education, the awards are given to the schools, not even the kids. It's a very school-focused program, but I do know that a lot of public librarians buy books from the list, right? So what we want to know is this something that you are gaining use out of? This is more information for the Connecticut State Library because of the information that we're putting into it than IMLS, but it's something that we're offering. We want to know, are public librarians using it, or is it just being used by school systems? So where you're going to see a lot of difference is down here. This is where you'll see below enter the total number of participants who chose the corresponding answers on their summer survey. So you'll recognize these questions from the summer survey. How many birth to 5-year-olds said they strongly agree they felt welcome to the library? How many of them said they agreed? How many of them said they disagreed? And so on and so forth for all of the age brackets. If anyone is starting to feel concerned at the labor intensiveness of this section of the survey, don't be. Hold. Below here is the section where this is where any success stories or anecdotal positive information from the bottom of the patron surveys can go. This is where we want to hear the good stories, the good outcomes of your summer reading programs. It's here, fill it in, we read it, we add it to the IMLS report that's been compiled. Any additional comments can go here. If someone wanted to say 80% of our summer reading participants were access sounds weird, were reached in summer camps or summer schools, this is the perfect space to put that information because this is information that we want to know, and we change and grow and adapt based off of the information that you all provide to us so that we can then know in turn what we need to provide to you. my name and email. You send that to me. When I get this information, I'll send you an email back that says, thanks. This is what I need, right? I don't need the patron surveys. I don't need, when you send an email with your summer reading information, this is what needs to be sent to me. This and this alone. Feel free to put like a message in the email or whatever. So in theory, this could have been the end of our summer report. It's not, because we created supplemental materials to, again, make this process as easy for you as we can. I'm going to actually start with the summer reading patron survey counter, just so we can build up to the mega sheet, right? Like what could be in there? That has to be the finale. So this is exactly what it says it is. This is a summer reading patron survey counter. So you saw that big space at the bottom where you have to go through the pieces of paper and count how many birth to 5-year-olds said they disagreed. Who's got that kind of time, right? I certainly don't. Enable editing, thank you. So this is a magical sheet that I thank you, Maria, for helping me create. I have a survey number here, just so at the end you'll know how many surveys you did, but I mean, technically you probably don't even need this column. Again, this is Excel. Take out and add whatever you want. We've just given you the bones. You will see the age breakdown, 0 to 5. The age breakdowns are exactly the same as on the survey. So someone hands you a survey, a grown-up hands you a survey on behalf of their 4-year-old, or perhaps the 4-year-old hands you their survey. And that 4-year-old has said, I strongly agree that I felt welcome to the library this summer. They have said, actually, let me change that. Your library was closed, so they couldn't circle that. They said, I strongly agreed that I enjoyed taking part in library activities. I agree that I learned something because of what was offered. I strongly agree. You guys really helped me find that book on stick bugs that I really wanted. I plan to take part in library activities after the summer's over. And yes, this is my first time participating in summer reading. Thank you so much for offering this, right? So let's say you had another birth to 5-year-old who just agreed with everything because maybe they didn't actually even read the questions, right? I don't know. So they circled all, agree, nope, this isn't their first time. Oops, let me move that box. This isn't their first time. They did it as a 3-year-old too, right? So you'll note down here, there are 2 tabs. Click. Oh, come on, computer. The math is done for you. All you have to do is take these numbers and put them into the spreadsheet. That first survey responses sheet is tallying everything up and nicely laying it all out right here. So as patron surveys are handed to you, you keep going. There's just more. I think there's like 5,000 or 8,000 of these. You just keep going, filling in their responses. You can trash the sheet after. Like you can shred it, you can get rid of it. You can keep it if you want to reference it later. And then you just take all of the numbers that are here, and because you'll see there was 1 strongly agree, there were 2 agrees, there was 1 strongly agree, one yes, 1 no. And you can just put this information into the sheet that has to be turned into me. Now let me see. Sorry if this question was answered. I missed it. How often are we handing out the surveys? I have to leave that up to your discretion, right? I don't know how your summer programs are going to be run. I don't know if you're running summer programs at all. The only thing that we suggest is that you start to hand them out a couple weeks into your summer reading program. You want to make sure that they've had time to experience what you're offering and get help from you. If you ask it too soon, everyone disagrees or circles NA because it hasn't happened yet. If you have a massive program that you're doing in the middle of the summer, a big story walk and half the town is coming and you want to hand them out, at that, by all means. If you want to stick them in take and make bags, go ahead and do it there. We have to leave that up to you because again, 191 libraries, 191 different summer reading programs. And maybe you just want to leave them at the desk. Yes.
But probably people were doing some kind of survey previously, right? Like asking how many books people read or minutes or pages. So they could use the same methodology, right? Like if you gave out that survey at the end, you give this one out at the end. You know, that's
Absolutely.
it's still, you're looking at the whole program as a total.
Absolutely, absolutely. We did have a question at the last one. What if someone fills it out more than once? Well, you know, we've had that happen. I've had someone say, I'm not sure if I filled out your survey, so I'm going to do it again. And sure enough, there's like one more survey than participants. It's not going to skew the results enough to make it a huge problem. And what we also said is if someone has had a vastly different experience toward the end of the summer than what they had at the beginning of the summer, that might be information y'all want to know, you know, like what happened that either changed someone's opinion on summer reading library services from the beginning of summer to the end, be it a good change or a less than good change. So however it works for you, right? So this is the summer reading patron survey counter because we wanted to make this as simple for you as possible. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Did anyone have any questions about this? While I close it and go to the next thing. Oh, don't bother saving. I'm going to hit the mega sheet. Well, I'm going to do the mega sheet now. So the mega sheet, right? So here's what we have done. I'm so proud of this, and I'm so thankful to Maria for helping. Oh, man. Those formulas, guys, they are no joke. You miss one semicolon and your whole day is ruined. So what the mega sheet is you will see all of this looks incredibly familiar. Nothing here has changed. The farther down we scroll, however, oh, why are there zeros here? What's going on? Because we have combined the CSL report and the survey, the patron survey response sheet. So now, as you fill out, you know, as you import, oh no, we don't disagree with anything. We love the library. As you fill out this information based off of what your patrons have submitted to you, it is going to be so much easier if you just do these things as they come in, as opposed to waiting to the end of the summer. Then what this does is it auto-populates the original sheet. So in fact, we have given you a patron survey counter that you can do throughout the summer. We have given you the CSL reporting sheet where you can transfer those numbers either from the patron counter or from hand. But then we have built you one Excel spreadsheet that just does it all. So you can just, at the end of the summer, this is all done. The bottom of this is over. You don't even have to think about it. All you have to do is go into Read Squared or however you've been keeping track of how many programs, how many, you know, whether you use Maria Sheet, and import that information and send it off. We have tried to make this as simple as possible, and all the rest of this is the same. Nothing else has changed. So we've made you a sheet to fill in. We've made you a patron counter to count. We've made you the granddaddy of them all, because we recognize 191 libraries. Not everyone wants all the things, but some people, maybe larger systems, are like, I do not have time. You know, I need everything that you can give me. So that's what we have done here. We have also, because we do recognize that some libraries might be closed for the entire summer, we have created a sample Google Forms for the patron survey. So you can put it on your website, you can send it out in your newsletters, people can fill it out, and then you're not actually collecting anything. Wait, so all we need to do is send you the mega sheet by October 1st. Yes, if you choose, if you would prefer to use the mega sheet, that's it. Send me the filled out mega sheet at the end of the summer by October 1st. On January, the first Monday of January, the first day we're back after New Year's, you're gonna have the summer reading access information. So I'm gonna stop sharing and turn this over to Maria, because Maria is going to share something with you with regards to that Google form.
Right. So this gorgeous thing that Kim showed us a demo of, if you've got this as a Google form, you see here once you're looking at your form as the owner of it, you can see how many responses there are. And it gives you these gorgeous little pie charts that are not the data you want. So what you're going to do is either create a spreadsheet, which populates it into your Google Drive, or you're going to download the responses and open it up in Excel on your computer. So either one of those will work. And I want to show you what that looks like when I open it on my computer. It's this big ugly thing here. But this gives me data that I can work with. So you do not have to retype all of these answers into any kind of spreadsheet. What you can do is use the information you've already got to come up with the totals to type into the final sheet. So this thing that I've downloaded, I'm going to come up here to the sort and filter button right up here top right, and I'm going to pick filters. So I'm just going to add the filter option to all of these columns. And now I can really sort them and select them in different ways. So let's say I'm going to fill out my final summer reading report, and I'm going to start with all of the kids 6 to 11, because I know I had a lot of those. So now that I have clicked on that filter, deselected, and picked just the children ages 6 to 11, that's what the spreadsheet is showing me. So I can highlight them, and then the spreadsheet is going to show me right down here, that's 17 kids, ages 6 to 11. Great. I don't have to count. I don't have to do math. All I have to do is select and sort. So this column, I'm sorting alphabetically. I can see how many agrees. That's 10 people who agreed. I can see, oops, there were 2 kids who disagreed. Bummer. And I can eyeball this one. That's 5 kids who strongly agreed. So you use the magic of the spreadsheet here to help you do the work so that you do not have to retype all of these responses from your Google form into Kim's form, because that's going to drive you crazy. And this methodology will work, say you're using Project Outcome or some other tool to capture the survey data. In most cases, you can export that as a CSV file or an Excel file. So once you've got that data, it's a gold mine, and make sure that you're using that. If you have questions about Excel or how to use Excel, please get in touch with me and I can walk you through how to use that. Were there questions in the chat that were coming through that I wasn't paying attention to?
Nope. There was just Kate who was just asking for clarification. You know, all we have to use is the mega sheet for tallying rather than tallying in one sheet and transfer to the mega sheet. Yes, Kate. What we've done is kind of like an excess of work that maybe in theory we didn't need to do, right? We were trying to take into consideration what might be the needs of some of those smaller libraries, right? Who using too much tech almost overcomplicates things in those systems. What might like Stanford need, right? So what might Woodstock that's open 20 hours a week need for summer reading, and what might Stanford need? And what might be needed in the middle? That's what we've created. As Maria alluded to, you can use Project Outcome if you want. You can collect this data in whatever ways these fit. If you want to mail everyone into whatever you want. We have given you a few tools that we believe have the potential to be incredibly helpful. You can use them, you cannot use them. But that main spreadsheet, as long as you can get all the information to us that's requested in that, go about that process in whatever way works best for you.
So Kim, we did have a question about data that I specifically want to address while we're within the hour here. Somebody wanted to know how we were going to use the data in the long run. And that is, it's a gold mine, right? Like I am personally very excited to see what kind of data you're collecting in terms of these outcomes, but I only see it being reported publicly in the aggregate. I see Kim reporting it as a statewide total to IMLS. I see us using it in social media as statewide totals, and us being able to provide your library specifically with your numbers. But I don't see us publishing any kind of like spreadsheet of everybody's numbers that's going to be available publicly. I don't see that. We do that with the annual report because that's really a lot of public data and collected for a different purpose. So this data is only going to be reported publicly as a total, as an aggregated sum, or individually to your library in specific flyers or a specific format that you can use to advocate for your library and tell your story. So hopefully that
Absolutely.
helps.
And if anyone is interested in what our goal is, or kind of what we're envisioning in our mind, this is compiled information based off of data collected over the summer from the California Library Association. So one major infographic so that the folks at the California Library Association or California State Library, CSL and CLA, basically, but 3,000 miles away, their CSL and their CLA can tell the story of California's summer reading program. They can tell you that they had over and do not stress out about California's 17 states in one state. So obviously inflation, but you know, they can tell you that 231,000 plus people signed up for a program. They can tell you that, and this is the information that I really want us to have. They can tell you that 87% of children who participated in summer reading plan to return to the library after the summer. They can tell you that 97% of children who participated in summer reading look forward to visiting their library again. They can tell you that 73% of teens and adults who participated in summer reading learned something from the activities offered by the library during the summer. This tells the story of a statewide library program. This tells the story. Joe reading 30,000 pages doesn't tell as magnanimous a story as information gathered like this. So ours will not look, you know, like but this is sort of this is a type of visual that we are hoping to turn the information that we collect into, so that not only can you then tell the story of your individual library, but we can tell the story of our state and what we are doing. And Maria, Ashley, and I coming at this information from the state library level, that's what we're trying to do. We hope that reframing the summer reading process in the way that we are allows all 191 of you to retain your autonomy in the way that you run your programs. If you want a game board, if you want a bingo board, if you want to donate dog food to the animal shelter, however you structure your summer program, we want you to continue to structure it that way. Whatever data you want to collect for your stakeholders, maybe you want to know that 30,000 pages were read over the summer because your superintendent I am not say that word, really wants that information, or your mayor really wants to know how many books were read by your library patrons. Collect it. Collect it. Collect it, collect it, collect it. How many times did I say it? 5 times? Collect it, right? However, at a state level, we just can't work with that to tell one story, because these 17 libraries counted books. These 32 libraries counted minutes. Those 17 libraries, they didn't count at all. They just wanted to raise money for books for the food for the animal shelter. These guys, they made hats for the, you know, like this is our way of collecting data so that we can tell one cohesive story, because that's what we're here to do, right? But we also want you to keep your autonomy and run your programs however you see fit. Are there any questions? Questions, concerns? Again, you can send me individual messages if you would rather not send someone to the masses. You're also welcome to send an email later. But our goal is that when everyone walks away from this session today, it's that when everyone finishes this video that hopefully will go up today if YouTube lets me do what I need it to do, at the end of this, they will feel confident in collecting summer reading data, either using one of our tools or using a tool that they create themselves, but understanding what it is that the state needs. And I'm going to say it again, count your books, count your books, count your books, count your books, count your books if your community wants that information. Do it, do it, do it. It was 5 more times and a couple do-its. If there are no more questions, I will stop recording. But before I do that, I want to make one final statement. We've given you a lot here. We've given you a lot of information, which is why we sort of made this recording, to hopefully clarify some of it. If you walk away with nothing else today, this summer reading report, just plain summer reading report that's due October 1st, find a way to collect this information and get it to us if you do nothing else, right? That's it. That's ultimately all we want. We want the information that Excel is going to take 19 hours to pull up, because of course we're 5 minutes after the hour. All I need is this information by October 1st. You're welcome to ignore everything else. This is it. This is all we need. Let me just, I thought I saw my chat light up, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. That's it. That's all we need, is the information right here, and the answers to the patron survey that's directly above it. You can ignore everything else on this page except the instructions. Read those and the deadline, because again, I know we've given a lot of information that can be overwhelming, and but what we don't want is for anyone to walk away confused. Get us the responses to this patron survey, however many you are capable of getting, and send me this by October 1st. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm just keeping an eye on chat. You're welcome.
I see some nods and thumbs up. Yep. So far of the pictures I can see, and a thank you and sign. Thank you, Heather. I'm
on like speaker view, so all I can see is like you, Ashley, Heather, and Debbie. Hi, Debbie. You're like the only 4 on my screen, and myself, of course. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and stop recording.